So the nice thing about little munchkins, especially if they're newborns, they're only 20 inches some long, give or take an inch. So even if you just start off and just, again, make your presence known with their systems or talk to them and all of that, you can be here, you can feet first, head first. I like when people just, go for the comfort first of the child, because it's going to be a lot harder if they're actually in a NICU. Now, obviously I couldn't bring that to you today. I have tons of presentations online and stuff. Again, they're all available. You have to be aware, obviously, the size of the child. I mean, the smallest babies I've worked on were 875 grams, which is like not even 1.5 pounds. So it's humbling.
It's tiny.
Yeah. And it's still, to me, even though I'm doing it, it is the most fascinating, rewarding experience. To see a baby in particular just respond in your hands when their baby is in trouble, to come to you, it is, again, it's humbling. It is not the time to necessarily to say, well, why didn't you do this? And why wasn't your sonogram read right? And it didn't happen. You know what I mean? This is where we're at. And sometimes it's sort of like a deer in the headlight. A lot of people think I do this work because of my son, but actually my son was recovering from a procedure, and I swear they didn't look older than 18 years old, and their child was coming to, and again, your child's in IVs and all of these kind of things, and they were basically told, the child's deaf, here's a pamphlet, have a nice day. And the woman walked out. I mean, there was no come to my office, there was no, and the way that they looked at each other like, there's just got to be a better way for a lot of things. And I really think that part of the newborn movement assessment is not only, okay, your baby looks really good, you'd see scoring less than a 5, or it's in moderate, this is where you do with it, a lot of it, but it allows you to show a parent that window of opportunity where they are at with their child, and then what they can do with it. If you apply this touch, you're going to get results. Now, the better you know how to touch, the better you can, direct those results and so forth. But it's an amazing opportunity. But what I liked most about this work, even when I got into my first training, it was the first time that I actually felt like I had a game plan and or hope. Because everybody else was coming into my life going, oh, Mr. Turner, he's never going to have a job, and he's never going to drive a car, and he's never going to, and can we get past 2? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, my son's got a life-threatening issues. He looks great, but if his meds aren't made anymore, he's going to last about 2 months. So he's got autoimmune failure. He's not so boy in the bubble, but he gets IV'd, and if the IVs weren't available, and it is blood-based IV, so he risks Hep C and HIV and things like that. So, life's not foolproof, and if you think you're having a bad day too, I can give you some phone numbers. So, and I know all of you guys too, that are being professionals, are in the same boat. So, I don't mean to soapbox that aspect of it, but to make this more powerful and to offer, again, the parents the opportunities that even if the children are, quote, yes, okay, I'm not looking for developmental delays per se, it gives them such a nice avenue to be purposeful with their kids. When you start to do an assessment with a child, like I said, you just can sit there. Now, the problem with me is I don't do, quote, the official where I go here, bum, knee, foot, which I can. So even though I'm doing the assessment, I'm already working on the child. So I know doctors and so forth, nurses, when they're just going to be doing the assessment and walking away, it'll be a little bit different. But I think also it's nice about this, and when you show a parent or you're working with a parent on how to do it, that you can just, while you're doing that, just show how nice it is to when you're working with the foot and going around of just how the foot should be. And you just, again, now, if you prefer to go down, and I'll go through that more tomorrow, the score sheet on how things work, that's fine too. Or it's a great aspect for the parents to know things. But honestly, I think very quickly you'll be surprised how you'll be able to actually, if you're practicing this quite a bit, to touch a baby and go, oh, did you have a C-section? You know what I mean? And just work with them that way, knowing their history. Unfortunately, people start thinking you're psychic, but no, it's just in the system. And two, like I said, even though they have a chart, it's trusting your hands more so than what they're saying, because like the mom saying, no, there's no feeding issues, and the child couldn't latch on, yeah, big warning sign. And she just took it as couldn't nurse, oh well. Well, this is what I'm trying to show you. It's just having that little conversation of going on, my worst scenario, which I'll never get over because I didn't have enough time with this man because they were looking for instant results. At 88 years old, I had a client that fell and broke his hip, and the doctor decided he had one leg longer than the other by 2.5 inches his whole life, and they shortened the leg during the surgery to make him even.
Oh my gosh. A lot of reorganizing for him to do.
Can you imagine at 88 years old that your gait now is off 5 inches, your extension, your depth perception,
everything.
So they kept saying, oh, surgery was fine, and I touched him, and literally like a little dog, he was just quivering. And I was like, all right, where's the trauma? What happened? And they're like, nothing happened. Half hour into it, she said, does it matter when one leg's longer than the other? And I said, oh, it's a parlor trick by chiropractors. They just do. They tell you that just to, your pelvis should actually, if I walk up the stairs, obviously my leg is 8 inches, or whatever, but I still adjust. And she's like, no, but what about 2.5 inches? And I said, what? And then finally she told me what went on, and I was like, she's like, those orthotics were horrible. It's what his system knew. His heart now is beating at 2.5 inches short. His whole, at 88, and then she's like, oh, this isn't working for us. And I was like, I knew I'd be the only one, if anybody, to get him back off of his walker, but at that, I wouldn't have done such a surgery past the age of 60 just because of what it would do to the system.